Jim, I will.
Okay, little lead in here for Louise. When I talked to Louise about coming here, she said, well, at my age of 92, we don't buy green bananas. They might not be around for them to ripen. So I almost fell over. I thought that was the funniest thing that was ever said. Please, thank you so much for being here today, and your son Joseph, for your recollections today.
Thank you. My brother, Lieutenant Daniel B. Nazareth, an American fighter pilot in World War II, was reported missing in action in February 1944. My family and I anxiously waited for 2.5 years for news of my brother. It seemed like forever. And finally, in December 1946, we received confirmation that he had been killed in action on February 22nd, 1944 in Boxtel, Holland. And he was buried in the American Military Cemetery in Margraten, Holland. The Margraten Cemetery is very beautiful. It is maintained by the American Battle Monuments Commission, and above and beyond this, the graves of the fallen American soldiers there are adopted by people of the region. For many years, Danny's grave has been lovingly tended by the Meertens family of Margraten. We are most grateful for this, as well as for the annual tributes by the people of Margraten to the fallen American soldiers. Every Memorial Day, and also every May 5th, which is Liberation Day in the Netherlands. By the way, May 5th is my brother Danny's birthday. All of this is consolation we would never have expected. Since Danny's death, decades went by before we discovered another surprising reason for gratitude. On a trip to Margraten in 2010, 2 of my children learned that prior to being buried at Margraten, Danny had been buried twice before as an unknown soldier at Eindhoven, Holland. We had no idea that there was a period in which my brother was unidentified. We also had no knowledge of the brave work of the United States Army Graves Registration Companies, which risk cadaver poisoning in examining fallen American soldiers. It must have been a courageous and dedicated soldier of the Graves Registration Service who identified Danny, so that he could have a marked grave that we are able to visit. We are most thankful for this. I did not expect that there was any more to learn about my brother's death. But a little over a year ago, I began to receive correspondence from Mike van den Roof, a young man in Holland who does research on pilots who crashed in Holland during World War II. Mike shared information he had gathered about my brother's crash. Through Mike, we made contact with Bert van der Meesten and Pete Schneiders of Boxtel, where my brother's death is still remembered. Bert's father, Jos van der Meesten, witnessed the crash of Danny's plane on his farm in Boxtel. Joe's found, among other things, the remains of a rosary and a medallion of the Sacred Heart at Danny's crash site. Over the years, Joe's and others have kept alive the memory of what had happened to Danny. The day after Danny was killed, Pete Schneiders, now 84 years old, served as an altar boy for a Requiem Mass for my brother in Sacred Heart Church, Boxtel. Prior to Danny's internment in the church cemetery with formal prayers of burial and blessing of the grave. Pete, who still lives in Boxtel, has written to me several times of the tribute he continues to give to my brother. Pete wrote, "Every time when I go for a ride with my bicycle and pass the graveyard and the spot where he crashed, I stand still and think of what your brother did for the people of the Netherlands by giving his life for us." After 71 years, I had the surprising and profound consolation of learning that Danny was so reverently laid to rest by people who have been grateful for his sacrifice. As the poet says, when the evening gently closes in and you shut your weary eyes, I'll be there as I have always been, with just one more surprise. Thank you.